Hey everyone, welcome back to Everyday English with Johnny. I'm so glad you're here today. Learning English isn't just about grammar or big words. It's also about feeling, about connection, about real stories that touch the heart and help you live the language, not just study it. In today's episode, we'll do something a little different. Instead of focusing on tips or textbook dialogue, I'm going to take you on an emotional journey. The kind of story that stays with you long after you hear it. It's about love, heartbreak, self-discovery, and finding peace in the most unexpected places. You'll meet Isabella, a quiet librarian from a small beach town, and follow her story as she opens her heart, faces betrayal, and learns to stand tall again. As you listen, try to feel the words, repeat the phrases, and imagine yourself in the scenes. This isn't just listening, it's living English, one sentence at a time. So, get comfortable, take a deep breath, and let's begin.
My name is Isabella. I am 28 years old, and I live in a small town called Sunset Cove, close to the ocean in California. It's a peaceful place with sandy beaches, little shops selling seashells and ice cream, and the sound of birds singing in the morning. The sunsets here are beautiful, turning the sky into colors of orange, pink, and purple every evening. I work as a librarian in the town library. My days are quiet and simple. I help people find books, read stories to children during story time, and enjoy the smell of old pages and the soft rustle of turning them. Life felt good and safe for me. I had a few good friends, a cozy home with a big window looking out at the sea, and no big problems to worry about. After some hard breakups in the past, where my heart got broken more than once, I decided that love was not for me anymore. Being alone was better, I thought. It was easier. No more tears, no more waiting for someone who might leave. But life can surprise you when you least expect it. That's when I met James. James came to Sunset Cove for a short visit. He was building a new bridge nearby for his job as an engineer. He looked strong but kind, with warm brown eyes that crinkled when he smiled, and a soft voice that made you feel calm. One day, he walked into the library to find a book about the sea and local history. I was at the front desk, organizing some new arrivals. "Can you help me?" he asked politely. I looked up and saw him standing there, holding a map of the town. "Sure," I said, smiling a little. "What are you looking for?" He explained he wanted something about ocean waves and old ships. I led him to the shelf and pulled out a book with colorful pictures of the sea and stories of sailors. "This one is good," I said, handing it to him. "It has nice photos too." He took the book and smiled. "Thank you. You seem to know a lot about books. My name is James." "I'm Isabella," I replied. His words made me feel nice, like someone noticed me. We talked a little more. He asked about the town, like where to find the best coffee or a quiet spot to think. I told him about the beach path where you can walk and hear the waves crash gently. The next day, he came back to the library. He returned the book and asked for another one, this time about local birds. "I saw some flying over the bridge site," he said. We talked again while I helped him. He stayed in town for 3 weeks because of his work. Every afternoon, after he finished his day, he came to the library just before closing. We started sitting outside on a wooden bench under a big tree. We shared stories about our lives. He told me about his busy life in the big city, with tall buildings and noisy streets. "It's always rush, rush," he said. "No time to stop and breathe." I told him about my simple days, how I loved reading to kids and watching them get excited about adventures in books. He made me laugh with funny stories from his job, like the time a bird stole his sandwich. He listened when I spoke, really listened, not just waiting for his turn. It felt easy with him, like talking to an old friend. I started to feel a warm feeling inside, something I hadn't felt in a long time. One evening after the library closed, we decided to walk along the beach. The sun was going down, painting the sky in those beautiful colors I love. The waves were gentle, lapping at the sand like a soft song. We walked barefoot, feeling the cool water touch our toes. He stopped and looked at me, his eyes soft in the fading light. "Being here with you feels like home," he said quietly. My heart jumped a little. Those words stayed with me all night. I think I started to love him then, even if I didn't want to admit it. When his 3 weeks ended, he had to leave Sunset Cove to go back to the city. But we did not stop talking. He sent messages every day, like "Good morning, thinking of the beach," or "Read that book you suggested, loved it." We called at night, sometimes for hours. We shared dreams and jokes. He told me about his favorite music, old songs from the radio. I told him about my secret wish to write a book one day. I missed him a lot, more than I thought I would. The town felt a little emptier without him stopping by the library. A month later, he came back. His job needed him for another project nearby. This time, he rented a small cabin by the woods, hidden among tall trees with a path to the beach. He asked me to come over after work. "I want to show you the place," he said. I went, feeling nervous but excited. We made sandwiches with fresh bread and cheese and sat outside on the porch. We watched the stars come out, twinkling like tiny lights. We talked about everything and nothing. It felt like we were old friends who had known each other forever. He held my hand gently, and it felt right. But one night, everything changed. We were drinking hot tea on the porch, listening to the crickets sing. The air was cool, and a soft breeze rustled the leaves. He looked sad all of a sudden, staring at his cup. "Isabella, I have to tell you something important," he said, his voice low. My stomach felt tight, like a knot. "What is it?" I asked, trying to stay calm. He looked down at the wooden floor. "I am married. I have a son and a daughter back in the city." The words hit me like cold water from the ocean. I could not move. My hands felt numb. "Why didn't you say this before?" I whispered, my voice shaking. He sighed deeply. "I didn't plan to meet someone like you. My marriage is not happy anymore. We live together, but there is no love left. We argue a lot, and it's like strangers in the same house. I stay for the kids. They are young, and I don't want to hurt them." I felt tears building in my eyes. The stars above seemed blurry. I stood up and walked away from the porch, down the path toward the woods. The night air was cool on my face. I heard the trees whisper in the wind. He followed me slowly. "I understand if you want to end this right now," he said softly. I nodded, wiping my eyes, and walked home alone. That night, I did not sleep at all. Questions filled my head like a storm. Why me? Why now? How could I not see this? But I also remembered his smile, his kind words, the way he made me feel alive again. I was angry at him for not telling me sooner. I was sad for myself. The next day, he sent a message. "I'm so sorry, I miss you already." I stared at the phone but did not answer. For days, I felt empty inside. At work, I dropped books by accident. I stared at the shelves without seeing them. My heart hurt like a fresh wound. I told myself to forget him completely, but I could not. Part of me still wanted to hear his voice. A week passed slowly. One evening, I saw him waiting at the beach, near the spot where we first walked. He looked tired. We sat on the sand and talked. "You hurt me a lot," I said, looking at the waves. "I know, and I'm sorry," he replied. "But I care about you more than I can say." His eyes were honest, full of regret. I stayed and listened. I know it was wrong. People might judge me for it. I became the other woman, the secret. But in that moment, I wanted to believe him. I thought maybe he would leave her one day. Maybe we could be together for real. Maybe this was just temporary. So we met in secret from then on. He visited Sunset Cove once a month, saying it was for work. He stayed in the same small cabin. I went there after the library closed, when the town was quiet. We cooked simple meals together, like pasta with vegetables from the market. We talked about our days. He shared stories from the city. I told him about funny kids at story time. Sometimes we walked in the woods, away from any eyes, holding hands under the trees. No one in town saw us together. No holding hands in public places. No pictures on our phones. Just quiet times in the cabin, like a hidden world. But in those times, he made me feel special. He remembered my favorite tea and brought it with him. He gave me small gifts, like a pretty shell from the beach, or a bookmark with a quote about love. He held me close at night and whispered, "You are my light in the dark." I felt loved, even if it was only for a few days each month. But deep down, I knew the truth. I was not his first choice. I was hidden, like a secret book on a high shelf that no one else could see. Slowly, I started to change without noticing at first. I waited for his calls all day, checking my phone every few minutes. I said no to my friends when they asked me to join them for dinner or a walk. "I'm tired," I would say, but really I was saving my time for him. My world got smaller and smaller. Just work at the library, going home, and waiting for the next visit. Sometimes I sat by my window at night, looking at the dark sea, and thought, is this real love, or am I just scared to be alone again? The waiting made me tired, like carrying a heavy bag everywhere. But I hoped things would change. I hoped he would choose me. The months went by like slow waves. I still saw James when he came to town. But my heart felt heavier each time. I was always waiting for a message in the morning, for a call at night, for those short visits that ended too soon. When he was here, we shared happy moments. We picked wildflowers in the woods and made a little vase for the cabin table. We listened to music on an old radio, dancing slowly in the kitchen. He would say, "These moments with you are what keep me going." But when he left, the cabin was empty and cold. He took everything with him, his clothes, his bag, even the smell of his coffee. No shirt left behind by accident, no note on the table saying, "See you soon." It was like he was never there at all. He went back to his family in the city, to his real life with his wife and children. A life where I did not fit, where I was just a dream he visited sometimes. I started to ask myself hard questions more often. Why do I accept this half-life? I want a home of my own, a family one day, someone who chooses me every single day, not just on weekends. But what I had was only pieces of love, like broken shells on the beach, empty days filled with hope, and lonely nights full of doubt. I felt like I was losing myself bit by bit. One night after he left again, I walked to the beach alone. The moon was bright, shining on the water like silver. The waves crashed loudly, matching the storm in my heart. I sat on the sand and cried. "What am I doing with my life?" I whispered to the sea. The wind blew my hair, and I realized I deserved full love, not just scraps, not hidden kisses and secret promises. The next day, I talked to my best friend, Mia. She was the only one who knew about James. We met at a small cafe by the harbor, where we could smell the fresh fish and hear the boats rocking. "You look sad all the time now," she said, stirring her coffee. "Tell me what's going on." I took a deep breath and told her everything: the waiting, the secrets, the pain. "He makes me happy when he's here, but it hurts so much when he's gone." Mia held my hand across the table. "Isabella, you deserve to be number one in someone's life. Not a secret. Love should make you feel free and strong, not trapped and small. You are worth so much more." Her words stayed with me like an echo. I saw how much I had changed. No more reading books for fun in the evenings. No more long walks with friends on the beach. Just waiting, always waiting. My smile was gone, replaced by a fake one at work. One weekend, James came again. He brought chocolates from the city, my favorite kind. He kissed my cheek and said, "I missed you so much." We sat on the porch, but I was quiet, staring at the trees. "What's wrong?" he asked, touching my arm. I took a deep breath, feeling my heart race. "I can't do this anymore, James. I feel like I'm not living my own life. I'm always second place. I wait for you, but I want more. I need more. A real relationship, out in the open." He looked surprised, his eyes wide. "I love you, Isabella. You know that." "Then choose me," I said, my voice breaking. "Leave her. Be with me fully." He looked away, toward the woods. "It's hard. The kids are everything to me. The house, the routine. It's complicated." "And what about me?" I asked softly. "Am I just a dream, just something easy on the side?" He did not answer right away. We sat in silence as the sun set. That night we talked more, but nothing changed. I cried in his arms. He was kind, holding me gently, but he would not make the choice I needed. "I wish things were different," he said. The next day he left earlier than usual. I did not call him after that. He messaged, "Please talk to me. I need you." But I needed space. I turned off my phone and went for a long walk. I started new things to fill the empty spaces. Every morning, before work, I walked by the sea. The fresh air helped me think clearly. The waves washed away some of the hurt. I remembered who I was before James, a girl who loved stories, who dreamed big, who laughed easily. I missed that girl so much. At night, I wrote in a journal by my window. I want love that is open, like the wide sky, not hidden in shadows. Writing my thoughts made me feel stronger, like putting pieces of my heart back together. James kept messaging for a while. "I miss you every day. Can we try again?" But I did not reply. I knew it was time to let go. 2 weeks later, he came to my door one evening. The sun was low, casting long shadows. "I had to see you," he said, looking tired and sad. I let him in, and we sat at my kitchen table. We talked for hours, going over everything, The good times, the pain. I love you, I said finally. Maybe I always will, but I need all of you, not just parts. I can't be a secret anymore. He nodded slowly, tears in his eyes. I can't leave them, Isabella. I've thought about it, but I can't do that to my children. I'm sorry. More tears fell from my eyes. I hope you find happiness, I said. He hugged me one last time. Goodbye, he whispered, and then he left, walking away into the night. It hurt a lot, like a wave crashing over me. I cried for days, curled up in bed with my journal, but it felt different this time, like a clean pain, a step towards something better. No more waiting, just me starting over. Months went by after saying goodbye to James. At first, everything felt dark and heavy. I missed his voice in the quiet evenings. I missed our talks about nothing and everything. Some days I wanted to run back and say, let's try again. But I stayed strong, reminding myself of the pain. I spent more time with Mia and other friends. We went for ice cream at the shop by the beach, sitting outside and watching people walk by. We laughed about old times, like when we were kids chasing crabs on the sand. Friends made me feel loved without any pain or secrets. It was simple and real. I went back to my hobbies that I had forgotten. I read books under a big tree in the park, losing myself in stories of adventure and hope. I took long walks in the woods, picking colorful leaves and listening to birds sing. The world felt big and full of possibilities again. The sea whispered to me every day, "You are okay, keep going." To help heal, I joined a painting class at the community center. I was not very good at first. My brushes made messy lines, but it was fun. I painted the colors of the sunset, blending oranges and pinks on the canvas. Each stroke felt like letting go of a little hurt. The class had nice people, and we shared tips and laughs. One day in class, I met a man named Oliver. He sat next to me, mixing blues for an ocean scene. He had kind green eyes and a gentle laugh that made the room brighter. "Your painting is nice," he said, looking at my sunset. "The colors are so warm." I smiled shyly. "Thank you. Yours looks like the real sea. I'm Isabella." "I'm Oliver," he replied. He was a teacher at the local school, teaching kids about science and nature. After class, we talked more. He asked if I wanted coffee across the street. We sat at a small table, sharing stories. He told me about his students' funny questions. I told him about the library and my love for books. He listened carefully, asking questions that showed he cared. It felt easy, no pressure. We started meeting after class more often, sometimes for coffee, sometimes for a short walk in the park. He didn't ask about my past right away. He was patient, like a calm wave. One evening, we sat on a bench by the beach under the stars. The air was cool, and the waves sang softly. I felt ready to share. "Can I tell you something?" I asked. "Of course," he said gently. "I was in a bad relationship before. He was married. I waited for him for a long time, thinking he would choose me. But I was always second, always hidden. It broke my heart, but I left." Oliver nodded slowly. "That sounds really hard. You're strong to walk away from that. You deserve real love, the kind that's open and true." His words warmed me inside, like the sun after rain. Not a rush of feelings, but a quiet understanding. Weeks turned into months. Oliver and I grew close naturally. We went on picnics in the park, spreading a blanket and eating sandwiches while watching birds fly. We watched movies at the old theater in town, sharing popcorn and whispering about the plot. He held my hand in public without hiding, no secrets. I laughed freely again, my smile real and bright. I felt safe with him, like coming home after a long trip. One day we walked by the sea at sunset. The sky was full of colors, just like my paintings. He turned to me and said, "I like being with you, Isabella. You make my days happier." I smiled, my heart full. "Me too, Oliver. You make me feel seen." Now, looking back at everything, I don't regret my past with James. The pain taught me important lessons. Love should not hide in the dark. It should shine like the sun on the water. Waiting for half love is not enough. It only brings more hurt. Find peace in yourself first, then open your heart to the right person. I have that peace now. With Oliver, love feels like home, open, true, and gentle. We walk hand in hand on the beach, planning simple dreams together. If you feel lost in a love that hurts, remember, you deserve the full sun, not just shadows. Be brave. Listen to your heart. It knows the way. Thank you for listening to my story. It's real and full of feelings, from sadness to hope. If it touches your heart, share your thoughts in the comments. Where are you listening from? I'd love to know. More stories like this are coming soon.